So I've got some rose feathers, swan's down poppies that I'm going to plant. I think I'm going to plant the Dara flowering carrot, even though they're still kind of small, but I think that'll be less shocking to them if they are transplanted small. Salmon Yanina asters are doing good, so I'm only planting the bigger plants right now. The smaller ones will wait. So this is the Anytime Mix stalks. These are definitely ready to go. The chocolate cherry sunflowers. They're probably past their transplant date, actually. And then I'm going to be planting some alyssum and some German chamomile. They're quite full in there. So the rest could be transplanted, but I think I'm going to wait a little bit just because they're still pretty small. So I'll give them some more time in the incubation chambers that I made for them. And that'll help me, give me some time to space out my plantings too, because it is a lot of work, but a lot of fun too. I'll go ahead and show you guys some of the spaces that I'm going to be planting into. Alright guys, so I have a little patch of dirt right here. I'm going to just go ahead and transplant some of these seedlings directly in. I added this compost yesterday, so I gave it some time to sit and sort of cool down because it was, you know, in a big hot pile. The only thing in this bed is this like little poppy, so I left it uncovered so it could grow. And then I'm just gonna take a shovel and I'm gonna dig a big hole in the center. I think I'll plant the chocolate cherry sunflowers. That'll look good here. It's kind of a big island in the middle, so. Let's see what I unearth here. Ooh. Some plant material in there. Some fungi, some worms. Looks very healthy. Alright, so I watered this pot before I am transplanting it so that it's well hydrated. It was a little dry. So, never done this before, so be patient with me. I'm just kind of squeezing the bottom like I would squeeze a pot. I'm trying to be gentle with the plant. Let's shake it out. Let's see. Taps. It's harder than I thought. Alright, let's see. There we go. Okay. Wow. Look at those roots. Pretty cool, huh? So, what I like to do is just kind of pry the roots apart a little bit, give them some, stretch them out a little bit. I've been sitting in that pot for a couple of months now. They probably can't wait to be planted. So, I'm just gonna put them in this hole here. I'll probably put a little more dirt in because it doesn't need to be quite that deep. Okay, sink it right in there so you can see that. And then what I'll do is just put some of that nice soil right back around it. I know they kind of look floppy, but I'm sure they'll perk up sooner or later. So I'll just kind of smush it around. There's some worms in there, so I'm not gonna be too, I'm gonna be gentle on it. Okay, so one thing planted. Now I'm gonna do, let's see, maybe I'll plant some of the asters in here. Maybe not all of them, but some of them. I could have divided those sunflowers, but honestly they were kind of in a nice still look cool together, so I'm just gonna leave them like that. Let's see. They're like really dark black, like maroon sunflowers. All right, so here's some of the salmon Yanina asters. So I'm doing the same thing, kind of squeezing them out. Wish I was better at this. Just split this up into chunks. You can even use like a hori knife, but I'm just going to use my hands. This is called the, I guess, hunk of seedlings planting method. It's not very scientific, but it works. Or you can just take a chunk like this or like this and just plant it directly in the soil. So what I'm going to do is, I think the sunflowers will be the tallest, so I'll plant some sort of shorter things around it. So the asters, I don't know exactly how tall they'll be, but probably not as tall as the sunflowers, I'm guessing. I have some other asters that are about 3 feet tall, so I think these will be maybe around the same height. So I'm just gonna take a small clump, maybe like 2 or 3 of them, stick them right in there. And the great thing about winter sowed seedlings is that they've already been growing outside, so they're very hardy, meaning they're already well adapted to the colder or more, natural weather that's been going on outside already, so they don't need any babying really. They're kind of ready to go. So yeah, I'll just keep the rest in this, put it back in here for now. It's a little messy, but it works. So I'll keep those aside for somewhere else. Plant some chamomile here. Plenty of space even in this small bed, but I want to give them some space because they will get bigger than they are now. So some little holes, not super deep because it's kind of small. Oh, look at that root mass though, it's dense. So definitely ready to be transplanted. I in fact already transplanted a bunch of them to sell actually. But this is a nice like German chamomile cake, I guess now. I feel a little bad for them because they've been in here for a while. Okay, so I'm gonna just kind of tease this apart a little bit. The roots are gnarly. So that's a nice hunk, but there's so many within this hunk that I'm actually gonna separate each one out. So let's see. Try not to damage them too much separating them. So you see how there's a nice set right here of roots. So you just stick them right in. And I will water them as well. Just tease them apart. Stick them in. Small, they're tiny right now, but they will definitely get bigger. In fact, the ones I already separated earlier this season to sell at plant sales have gotten probably 4 times the size of these just because I gave them more space and more nutrients. I'm going to take one more little tonka seedling and stick it right over here. Should be good. Okay. Let's see. Maybe I'll put some alyssum as well, since I have so much of it. It's crazy. I really like winter sowing, and for some reason I kind of discounted it or underestimated it, I guess. I just thought, oh well, it's just the same as seed starting, but you know, outside. But it's actually quite different and fun because, you know, nature's just awesome. Okay. So stick some of these, just another little hunk like this. It's quite easy when the soil's so soft and new like this. I really like planting into compost, actually. It's a great way to go. I just add a little compost every year. It's nothing fancy. You don't need to go out and buy, like, you know, potting mix or raised bed mix. You'll waste a lot of money that way, I think. You can actually add some things to fluff it up, like I've added vermiculite and perlite before, but it's not really necessary unless you're starting seeds, so this is great. Okay, so I will pick up the camera and show you guys what I transplanted. So you'll see these are the alyssum starts, chamomile, and these are the asters, and then the big chocolate cherry sunflower in the middle, and then more chamomile, more aster. Yeah, just something simple like that. Doesn't have to be perfect. And then I'll go grab some water to water them. The chamomile and the alyssum were quite dry, so I'm just going to give them a little wash over here. It's easier for them to be transplanted that way. The soil's a little more loose. Alright, moving on. Alright, so I'm in a different patch here, which I also added compost to. I think I'm going to plant these poppies here. This is kind of my poppy bed. Although for some reason, even though they all came back, all the seeds from the original poppy plants came back last year, or they were self-sown. This year none of them self-seeded. Maybe the soil just wasn't good enough for them. They just didn't want to be here anymore, so that's okay. We'll introduce another type of poppy into this patch. Okay. Shovel works pretty well to get in deeper. Okay. Same thing over there as over there. I did kind of use like the hugelkultur method in these beds, meaning I put some logs in the bottom to help. I can actually feel them right here. I can't get down there because it's still not fully decomposed. And the reason why I did that is that the logs, as they break down, they absorb moisture. And so that's really great for the plants. I think I'm actually gonna split these up though, because it's quite a big clump and I don't want them all to be in the same spot. So I might do actually like Gardening does not have to be, actually, it should not be perfect because, I mean, it is perfect, but it's not the way that human beings think of as perfect. As long as you are truly honoring the land and your ancestors, and like all indigenous people, in the way that you grow food and flowers, then you should be good. The way I do it is to just listen to my body and ask what makes sense. If that makes sense, then I do it. It's that simple. Lots of worms in this hole here. Big one. This one again. Just want to show you guys. I'm gonna put over here. Okay. Garbage here. Wait, no. Just a leaf. Alright, so I'm gonna take these poppies, squeeze them out. Now poppies are pretty hard to transplant, I've heard, so we shall see if this even works, but I hope so. For their sake and my sake. Okay, so you can see this cluster of roots on the bottom. Not great, but it is what it is. So we'll take this hori knife. Kind of want to split it into thirds, so I'm just gonna go roughly this, this, this. Okay, so a couple of chunks here. Notice how the roots wrapped down onto the bottom. I think I'm just gonna push them back up like this, and then I'll stick them. It'll help that it's such a deep hole, I think. There'll be less shock that way. Okay, so I'm just gonna go ahead and put the dirt around these poppies. Nothing complicated, but just wanted to. Ooh, big guy right there. I didn't even see him. Yeah, so just kind of letting them sit how they were sitting at the level in their pot. So nothing too crazy happened to them today. Same thing with these guys. Honestly, I really think they'll be fine. I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure they'll be fine. Don't want to disturb the roots too much. Sometimes I just dig a deeper hole than I need, just in case, but I end up filling it back in usually. Okay, so just right here. Grab some of this good earth. Doesn't have to be fancy, guys. I feel like that's the best poppies in. Let's see, next thing. Let's do some, I want to get the carrots in. I'm trying to think if this is the best spot for them. Why not? Honestly, it doesn't really matter. It's the fun part. You can just kind of decide where you want to plant everything. Okay. Just make a couple of holes. I think I'm going to split them up just because there's not that many of them, and they're not in a clump like the other ones. So let's see. Another one right here. Honestly, it's kind of random. Okay. I was really looking forward to this because the sun was kind of out this morning. It's not out anymore, unfortunately, but overcast days are actually best for transplanting anyway, so I think the plants were telling me something. They were like, get me out of these pots. Okay, so with the carrot, I know I had mentioned to you guys that it is a taproot plant, and it has deep roots, so I really want to be gentle with it. The roots aren't super developed yet, and you'll notice at the bottom there's not a lot of spiraling or root bound activity, so what I'm going to do is just going to gently plop it in the ground. I mean, you can transplant carrots too, but it's not really recommended because, you know, you're eating the whole root, so if something gets disturbed about it. But these are not for eating, at least for me. They're for the flower. It's the Dara flowering carrot. Okay, so I'll do another one right here. It's totally normal for them to be a little sad today because they're getting moved to a different home, you know, but I think they'll recover once they know they're in a nice new spot. Okay, so you'll see that there's a bunch of them kind of close together. So what you can do is, actually there's like a couple of them right here, just pull them off in a clump, just take them out together so they can be with their friends. So stick them down right here, give it a nice little smudge. There's a lot of little tiny guys in here, so I'll be really careful with those because their roots are actually smaller, so I'll just stick them in these little holes. And yeah, I think you guys get the idea, so I'm just gonna time lapse it now.